Hey, Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Today on Alpha Commission, of course, we're going to just go over that bright green as Bitcoin does pop off and just lead the market up. We just see everything kind of glowing here, radioactive green. And guys, let's just head straight to the charts because I also want to get to some of the altcoins that I've just kind of just left letting go long because our entries were so great. Let's get straight to it. Let's check out Bitcoin first. Of course, we did have a nice pop up on the daily here. You can see that that formation, which was actually developing bearish divergences and was in danger of putting in another bearish divergence, did at the last minute last night actually pop up and created a bullish divergence just before a critical closing, which could have tipped this thing over. You see how these EMAs were bending over. They were getting into a squeeze formation to the downside, but then, Asia stepped up and just started buying, and they just haven't stopped buying since. So thanks, Asia. You guys, pumped our bags. If we do take a look at the Bitcoin technical analysis for the day, we can see that we are in a pretty interesting spot here in that if we just look at the momentum pool, it's really super critical at the level of 23,000, essentially 30. Okay, so 23,030, 23,020. If we lose that low here, this candle, if we basically just retrace this candle, then we are going to re-enter that squeeze to the downside. That's just how critical this candle has been, just how critical this kind of Asia pump has been, and it really saved our butts from just falling, just losing all of our momentum and falling. So again, thanks Asia. Not sure what's going on, but we are above the general continuation and the the pivot point here for volatility, which does suggest that we can continue to pump upwards so long as we hold above these levels, essentially at 23,580, 23,585 in particular for the most conservative play there. The day will be closing in about 13 minutes, so you will be able to see if we make it or not. Of course, as this candle is retracing, if it does take a little extra time after the close, that's not a big deal. It might end up losing this general continuation, this volatility pivot, and then we would expect it to perhaps come back and test these momentum areas down here. Again, there's almost no momentum pool because these are overlapping and these two are overlapping, and this is very rare. Usually we get a much bigger spread. So that does tell me that 23,580 is a really critical level, and 23,000 flat, well, around 23,020 is a super critical level on these charts for the daily. We are well above both, but we are retracing. So just watch out tomorrow if we lose those levels. Guys, let's take a look at the weekly because the weekly is also closing for Bitcoin. And this is a much different picture than the daily. You can see, let me jump over to the weekly chart here for our EMAs. You can see that the weekly is continuing to have that weekly squeeze, which is extremely bullish. Usually that type of a squeeze really just front runs an epic bull run, which we are officially on now, having increased more than 40% from our bottom. We are on a Bitcoin bull run, and we are going to crash into the 200 weekly EMA sooner or later at around 25,000. So we will have to see how Bitcoin handles this area. If you can see that there was a lot of sell pressure here. There's this wick over here, so there's a lot of activity going on in that $25,000 area as we push our way into that, which could end up turning this thing around. Not to mention, Jerome Powell is going to be speaking on February 1st, where we will get the announcement for the interest rates, and that could just send the market screaming down, especially if he increases the terminal rate. Everyone is focused on 50 basis points or 25 basis points, but he could increase the terminal rate, aka the number of times that he increases rates. Even if he increases it only a little bit, if he increases it a lot of times, right, then it will still have an effect of big interest rate hikes, right? And so, guys, you could do one big rate hike once, and that would be better than a whole, than 100 little rate hikes. You understand? So the terminal rate, which basically means like the ending level of how many rate hikes he does, is really going to determine a lot in this market if we do get a 25 basis point announcement by Powell. If we get a 50 basis points, of course, that one should send us back. We're going to have to wait for February 1st to really understand what's going on there. You can see on the weekly, however, we are above the momentum pool. We are well above our volatility pivot here, which does suggest that anything that does spike this market has a much higher likelihood of spiking us to the upside so long as we hang above 17,240, which essentially is where you can see the 9 EMA on the weekly here turning up. And so again, like we could come all the way back down, retest our lows, and we're still in pretty good shape. Okay, guys. So again, don't fade this pump. It's been incredibly good, and we are, getting at those areas where we are looking forward to potentially a pullback. A lot of people want to get in on this. Sometimes the market just doesn't give you a pullback, but hey, the Alpha Fam caught the absolute bottom. We caught a couple of these bottoms here, both cheeks of the bottom, and so we've just been riding that. Guys, let's go ahead and check out some of these other coins that I've been neglecting just because they've been pumping from our entries, right? So let's go ahead and go over to Ethereum. On Ethereum, you can see that we have reached the measured move that I was talking about. We did talk about this double bottom down here. I thought this one was going to be the pump that actually ended up bringing us across. It ended up being reset. No big deal. We got above our critical level again, and that did give us that 25 to 30% that we were looking for. Now we're bumping our head into there. We are sitting above this weekly 35 EMA, which is a good sign. Probably going to get scooped up into this kind of resistant area and then see if we can go a little bit further, perhaps to 2000, maybe even more. Okay, guys, let's go to the daily. Because that was the weekly, and you can see that we are above the 200 daily EMA, and we're just consolidating on top of that, which is, in my opinion, pretty bullish, to be honest. We are also kind of having this little knife trying to get into this resistance. We did fail it over here, and you can see that we have failed this area quite a few times, but should we be able to stab up in there and just get a little pump, this could be easily another 7%. And on top of that, you see this topping little over here, then that could be another 10%. So maybe another 15% that we could squeeze out of this if we get some type of a move like this one, right? Let's go ahead and turn on our key levels to watch for the daily there. You can see that Ethereum is now officially above its volatility pivot. So good job, Ethereum. It is also above general continuation, and if it stays at this level in the next 7 minutes, it will maintain that look. I would like to see it above 16,000. Pardon me, 1671 and 80 cents. Okay, so 1671 and 80 cents. If it is able to hold that level, basically this wick high over here, then it should be able to push into this resistance zone and just keep going. But that is a level that is really important for us to break and to put a candle on top of. So please look out for that. Otherwise, we could easily chop back down, and we are going to lose our upward momentum underneath 1572. So that's the critical level to look for there. We're going to lose our volatility edge below 1629. So it's okay to have a little bit of pullback, but let's at least hold 16.29. Okay, guys, let's look at the weekly because, of course, this is the one that just gives us all that confidence. It's been giving us all this confidence to trade because the zone has been just so big. And look, we did get that weekly squeeze pushed through the weekly 200 EMA, which hopefully Bitcoin can do as well. And we are actually above our hold our current momentum level, which is great for the weekly. So since the weekly also closes in 5 minutes, as long as we close above 1630, it's gonna be all right for the week. It looks like we could have pullbacks, but look, our volatility pivot is all the way down at 1200. It's almost rock bottom. Like we're gonna lose our critical momentum underneath 1262. So, guys, like we have a pretty flexible chart here. Let's just put it mildly. Okay, we're gonna continue to be bullish, even if we have a major pullback. Okay, so I can't fade what's going on in the market right now. We seem to have a hard floor there. Let's just keep moving because that closure is coming up. Let's take a look at Doge, and Doge you can see is above our dang it, I should go on the right time frame. Go to the daily. Let's see, this is the weekly. Let's turn on the daily. There we go. You can see that Doge is just trying to break this kind of level up here. It seems to really struggle with this. You saw those wicks struggling over here too, but this EMA setup is really nice. There's nothing bearish about that, and you can see all of Doge's levels are really concentrated together with this really teeny tiny momentum pool, which it is sitting on top of, and then it is holding the current momentum. It holds that for a pardon me, if it holds that for a couple more minutes, then it should close bullish for the day. And, it looks like that's probably going to happen. It is above its volatility pivot. So everything's looking pretty good for Doge on the daily. We do hope to see that break up, and not just lose this over here, which could happen. But if it does fall down, I don't want to see us underneath 8.7 cents. Okay, I just at least let's hold 8.7 cents on the day. For the weekly, we do have a lot more room to think about. Rather day to day, we can think week to week, and we don't want to get below 8.4 cents. Basically, we don't want to get below 8.4 cents, or we're going to start messing up some things over here. But we don't really lose all of our momentum until we're under 7.8 cents. So there is some flexibility there. It's just for those volatility spikes, we're really going to want to be above 8.4 cents for Doge. And then I'm just going to, consider, that just a kind of a pullback above 8.8 cents. And we're looking great on the weekly. Okay. So I am in a position in Doge just in case Elon says something stupid and makes it like spike up. Just like to have a little bit, in that. Let's see. Let's go to Sol. Sol actually hit my target. So I was watching this parallel channel that I did drive on the log chart, and you can see we hit the Pico bottom of it and just pumped up. And I was telling people like we're gonna go all the way to 25. Okay, and it was really unbelievable at $8 or $10. But having caught that, we went all the way to 25, and look at what we're doing right now. We actually broke out of the channel. We did that up here also, so watch out for a little bit of a fake out possibly on Sol. But since everything is attacking their 200 daily EMAs, it could be possible. But boom, guys, like we freaking nailed Sol. 25 was definitely the target, and we are exceeding those expectations. Even I was struggling to believe it when we got above 13 that the other half would carry out, but sure enough, it absolutely did, and this thing still potentially has legs. Let's turn on the daily levels for Sol. And you can see that the volatility pivot is here at the 24.92. Hold above that. Looks like we're going to do it. Then no problem. We are above the alpha momentum pool, so all of our momentum is pointed upwards right now. Sol is looking good. I can't fade Sol, guys. So Of course, we could pull back. It's just we don't want to lose that 24.92. We will lose all of our momentum to the upside underneath 24 on the daily. Guys, let's go ahead and turn on the weekly because the weekly does give us a lot more room to play with, sort of like Ethereum. You can almost come all the way back down to the bottom and it will still have a bullish setup. So if even if Jerome Powell just completely tanks the market and the Federal Reserve just tanks the market, as long as we get in there with a little bit of a higher low or even just higher than this wick, we are going to have bias to the upside above 24.21, and then a little bit more tenuous, but anything above let's just say 10.14. Will still look good. And I'm still gonna, just lean in that direction above 849, but this will be very dangerous. We could easily come back down to this parallel channel. Guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the Litecoin. And Litecoin, we've been trading this one since all the way down here. Um, I do believe that I was talking about the fractal that looked like it was playing out, and the fractal has been playing out perfectly. So, what's been the move on this one? About 67%. Geez, light coin. Sometimes I call it Lightroom because I use that software for photography. But anyway, Litecoin. If I ever say Lightroom, just let me know. But guys, let's go to the daily and look at a bullish Litecoin, well above its volatility pivot. That was a stretch to reach to, and it exceeded it in spades. Okay, guys. I mean, this was just a mega pump of like 7% there on Litecoin. We're not going to lose that momentum unless we're underneath 89.67 on the day. Again, we're going to just look really great above 91.64. Easily could come back down and just, bounce off of that, do a little retest there. We could even come down as low as 90.65, and I will still be very bullish on that because we're going to be above this pool. Of course, we just did close the day, and so, probably the next day is going to retest everything, but we did close quite bullishly there on the weekly. Litecoin does have significantly more significant room in order to work. Not as much as some of these other coins that we were looking at that had their critical weekly areas all the way down at their lows. For Litecoin, we really just talking about a little bit of a distance here. So Litecoin can come down to $74, and I'm still going to be okay with it. $75. $76 if you want to be conservative, and then anything over 87, I'm feeling pretty bullish on Litecoin for the weekly. Okay, guys, and so that's a lot of time to play with. The weekly did just close, so obviously it closed bullish. This thing could easily pull back, bounce off this area, and then get into this weekly squeeze with the 200 EMA that could just pop us up. Let's go ahead and just wrap it up there, guys. I do want to keep this one under 20 minutes, so I hope you enjoyed that. I'll try to do a little bit more altcoins in the future. Sometimes I neglect them when we're really being driven by Bitcoin, but I do think it was time to catch up on this stuff. Again, our entries were down, at these lower levels. So for all of these coins, the Alpha Fam is just killing it. And guys, just remember to always take your profits. We still are in a macro downtrend. This is so far just a lower high. There's nothing too special going on. It could be a fool's rally, a sucker's rally. It could just be a bear market rally. And these things can turn around quickly. So don't just get into some type of a perma bull mentality. Don't be a perma bear. Please do take the trades when the trend is going up and you do have good levels to focus on, and you do have good entries, but always be taking your profit. Don't be loyal to these coins. These coins will not be loyal to you. Just be a clever little alpha monkey. Guys, hope you enjoyed that episode. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all your likes and your comments. It really does motivate me to keep going. And the Alpha Fam is just killing it. We're going to continue to just kill it in the next bull market. That was your Alpha for the day. Stay safe and happy trading.